afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another, this time more special Propagandacast, because this is sort of in celebration of having reached 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Yes, indeed, 10,000. Absolutely stand up. Good job there to all of you who've been spreading the word, personalizing all that. And of course, joined up, watched my videos, commented, liked them, all that good stuff, every single one of you. And of course, also to those who have donated, very big thank you to you. Without you, I probably wouldn't have gotten able to get this far, so huge thanks to you as well. Your donations have done a huge part here for the Propagandacast, and I certainly hope for those of you that can will continue donating as well, at least for a bit longer. So anyways, thank you all, it's certainly a huge momentous occasion, and I certainly hope we can end up adding another 0 to that 10,000 and hit 100,000, though that might take a bit longer. But anyways, thank you all. A big, huge round of applause there to yourself. You're all wonderful, special, spectacular people. But of course, you know, a video needs a bit more than that. Of course, you know, why not talk a bit about Company of Heroes and Company of 2, and more specifically, why I love Company of Heroes and why I love Company of 2, why I can play the game for hundreds and hundreds of hours, why I can keep on casting day after day, year after year. What is it that gives me such passion, such enthusiasm for the game? I mean, I'll admit, I wasn't the sort of, you know, the one sort of immediately sort of really got into it back when it was released, you know, many years ago. I was just partly because, well, I didn't have the internet, so I could really sort of play multiplayer. It only really came about there when I moved on, sort of got some proper internet, and then I could play multiplayer. But even then, it was just immediately sort of like, you know, oh hey, Dawn of War 2's out. That looks pretty interesting. Oh, it looks a little bit similar to Company of 2 multiplayer, you know, play. So, you know, I thought I'll play some Company of Heroes, I'll play some multiplayer games. I'm sure that'll be fun. And then I kind of got hooked, which also eventually sort of resulted me very quickly sort of going, oh, right, Dawn of War 2, that's happening as well, though I'm actually quite enjoying the other game more. So, little fun bits there, little fun bits. Overall, I even remember one of my most sort of really first spectacular fights of Company of Heroes. It's a 1-versus-1 Bolo Lands. I was the Wehrmacht versus US. I'd gone Blitzkrieg. He'd gone airborne. I was down to one victory point, and I somehow managed to turn around. It was desperate. I had Knights Crossholders, Stormtroopers, my Tiger Tank had been taken out by swarming M10s, yet somehow I held out. Somehow I won the fight, even despite the boss went, you know, GG, and then later still launched one last desperate assault. And of course, in their case, there's even a little lesson. Don't trust the other bastard until you get the victory screen. Always assume, even if he's going GG, that he's a sneaky bastard that wants to catch you off guard. Always. Never assume they truly mean GG until the victory screen is there. Very good lesson there. But of course, you know, that doesn't fully explain, you know, why do I love Company of Heroes. You know, it's in the mechanics. It's in what particular things. I mean, it's a lot of things, of course. It's how the entire game is. But there's one particular part of the game that really just, you know, gets me. And that's the infantry. It's the bloody infantry, the poor bloody infantry, which so many RTS games before had rather ignored, and many still continue to do. In particular, I mean, you know, makes sense in some, you know, periods, but you know, when we hit World War II and some more modern periods, you know, it's sort of a bit awkward, you know, seeing infantry otherwise acting. You know, it's like in the bloody Napoleonic era, standing about out in the open. Even in StarCraft, you know, they all basically know, Viva la Space Napoleon, let us line up with assault rifles and take on aliens. And wait, where did modern infantry training go? But instead, you know, companies had squads, you know, which are basically the core sort of unit of any infantry unit. Cover was made in, and now we come to we've got vaulting, but overall it just made infantry feel, you know, like proper infantry. It made, you know, feel right, it made them feel flexible. They weren't just, you know, a bunch of guys with uniform guns and that was it, you know. I mean, they had machine guns, grenades, Panzerfaust. They could do things, they could secure weapons. I mean, they had proper flexibility. And sure, you get something like Men of War, but Men of War then decide to completely take it off to the end, where you're basically, at the end, also telling your soldiers to tie their bloody shoelaces. I mean, that guy, you know, Company strikes sort of a good, nice middle, you know. Not too stupid, but not, you know, too complex and thus stupid that way either. You know, you're not there to tie their shoelaces, you're the commander. Largely giving out the orders, the men sort of clearing up the smaller details themselves, in general. And in that regard, that's the one thing I really love about Company. Sure, the vehicles are great, the armor's great as well. Of course, all the support weapons, that all lovely stuff, suppression, artillery, all that. But it's really the infantry that sort of, for me, is sort of the core of it. I mean, without the infantry, all the tanks, of course, would be boring as well. So, I mean, there's not really that, of course, but again, just infantry would be boring. Just a little caveat there. I'm not the sort of guy that advocates only infantry fights. That would also be good, kind of boring. But primarily the infantry, and it's also largely why, for example, I can't really enjoy any other RTS games. Maybe except Dawn of 1, even that was not quite to the same degree. It's because they just don't get infantry right. I mean, again, you'll just see them basically running around there like, tiny tanks in some regard, just, no sense of regard for their own selves or any, regard for being infantry. It all just makes so many games utterly, utterly boring and pointless to me. And so primitive. It's so utterly primitive. I mean, it's like, there's only one game, for example, in terms of FPS that's sort of advanced. Everything else is basically Wolfenstein 3D, but with crisis effects. Sure, it's neat, but, it's not really fun. For longer periods of time, it's just so uniformly boring to me. So, a little fun little fact there as well, and sort of how I pursue things. Again, that's also partly, again, Company 2 and Company Heroes rather ruined me. I just can't play any of the RTS and get any sort of sense of satisfaction about it, because Company Heroes, also an important thing, doesn't focus too much on micromanagement. Sure, it's there, it has to be there, but it's not the overriding factor. It's tactics, it's strategy, it rewards the things, it rewards maneuver, it rewards clever thinking. It rewards altering the terrain, I mean, there's also a sense of this, this is a battlefield, When you go out there and sort of the initial battle, looking at the map there, and then after battle, there'll be barbed wire wrecks strewn all over the place. That's also a sort of nice visceral feeling for me as well that really just makes the game great. Of course, there's the voice acting, all the sounds, another huge important factor. But again, I mean, really, it's the infantry. And it's also a part I hope Relic will expand upon in the future, make something more out of squad leaders, make them a bit more varied in equipment, a bit more like the proper infantry units that actually won the fight, make them more nuanced, a bit more fleshed out. Also, model variations so it doesn't look like they all, are clones, except in the face. That's the one thing I always found a bit weird, though. The faces are always different, but never the uniforms, because as we all know, looking from this angle, we'll be looking at the faces. That's one thing I never quite understood from Relic. Why bother with the faces and not even say the headgear, Some different, camo patterns, or some without, maybe a cap. But no, it's the faces for some reason. I'd really, if one from Relic, watches this, maybe explain that one to me. Why the faces, not just even the headgear? I'd really like that one. Anyways, slight, derailment there. But again, the infantry, all the sort of they're working together with, that's really why I love companies, because again, it makes infantry feel like, proper bloody infantry. It makes them fun, makes them interesting, makes them flexible, not just, another unit that's sort of specialised in something, but in the infantry, the flexible unit, the fun thing can do a lot of things. And of course, currently, it's not all, fully working companies. Again, I hope, when the future people from the future look at this, they can say, oh, well, at least the Oberkommando West is fixed now, but, currently, in this time period where I'm talking right now, the Oberkommando West is rather shy, and that certainly does sort of ruin a bit companies. But even then with the Oberkommando around, I'm still enjoying companies, and I just can't see myself playing any other RTS game, which really says something about how good it is, that even something like the Oberkommando West ultimately can't drive me away from the game, though it might occasionally diminish my eagerness towards playing the game, and occasionally also casting, but still, it can't kill it, it can't ruin it. Though it certainly tries. It certainly tries. And again, if someone from Relic watches this, kindly get around to fixing it, please. I beg of you. I beg of you. So I think, that rather covers it. Again, little sort of, again, why I love Company Heroes. Again, it's infantry. I also love the armor. I love we get proper assault guns, again, so many other game developers had in a Stuga and think, oh, it's a tank destroyer, and apparently, never knew any bloody thing about World War II and how the Germans operated, which, I also like. I mean, again, Company's never going to be the most realistic, but in some regards, it's probably a lot more realistic than other games, because, again, infantry. And so, get some parts of it right, and also a bit more of the feel right. Whereas other games, when they go about realism, they'll only focus, getting the right, kind of sockets right. All the technical bits, but the human aspect of the war tends to get forgotten, which, tends to be a bit dull as well. But certainly again, infantry. And again, I hope it's something really expansive on. I also hope they sort of do a bit more out of buildings. You know, get some house to house fighting or something like that. That would be pretty neat as well. So I think that rather goes for it again. Wishes are towards more infantry, better infantry, more interesting infantry, more options. Maybe customizing infantry and squad leaders. Always that was one thing I'd actually like to see Dawn of War brought over to the game. Squad leaders. Little wish there from me. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to what Relic brings to the Company franchise. I hope though it stays in World War II. Maybe some parts of the Cold War could be interesting if there were sort of more theoretical bits. But otherwise, Company World War II for me. But otherwise, looking forward to see what they bring. Maybe it's North Africa, maybe it's Italy. Hopefully it's not the Pacific. Not really something I find particularly interesting. But either way, thought, some people might like to know what it gets me so geared up about Company of Heroes. Again, some people say, I should do something special, and ultimately, I decided on this. What is it that gets me, all excited about Company of Heroes? What is it that really keeps me going day after day? And again, pretty much when there's all other RTS games, absolute bog shite to me. And that, again, is largely the infantry. When it also then works with the armor, great stuff. So there you have it, and of course, it'd be great to see people post in the comments, why do they love Company Heroes? What is that gets them all excited, all hot and bothered day after day. So if you feel to post that in the comment section. And overall, I hopefully, enjoyed this, hopefully you had a few laughs, hopefully, had some thought yourself as to the game. And hopefully, you just got something out of it. So anyways, thank you all for watching. Again, cheers for 10,000 subscribers. Hope to get a lot more, hope to see a lot more people. And hope to see you around when I hit 100,000. So thank you all. You're all special, wonderful people. And I couldn't have done this without you. So thank you all and see you all tomorrow.